Some companies compete, but some command. Shadowy giants you've probably never heard of are quietly shaping the future. They are not household names like Apple or Tesla, but make no mistake, they're embedded deep in the tech we rely on, forming the infrastructure of tomorrow. One of the biggest, Contemporary Amperex Technology Limited, CATL. They're not just battery manufacturers, they're the silent power brokers of the electric era. Imagine OPEC but for energy storage. That's the kind of influence we're talking about. In the next 12 to 18 months, CATL's latest innovation won't just end up in your next EV, you'll want it. Because this isn't a small step forward, it's a seismic rewrite of what batteries can do and what we believed was possible. This isn't theory, this isn't locked in a lab, it's real, and it's rolling out, changing the entire game. For years, the EV revolution has been held back, limited by range anxiety, battery decay, and the constant what-ifs. How far can I go? How long will it last? Will this even be worth it? The industry's thrown billions trying to fix it, chasing breakthroughs in solid-state tech, new anode materials, and magic electrolytes. Lots of hype, plenty of keynote slides, not much else. But CATL doesn't chase buzz, they build empires. They're already powering Tesla, Ford, BMW, Volkswagen, and they control a jaw-dropping 37% of the global EV battery market. In 2023 alone, they shipped over 240 gigawatt-hours worth of batteries, a scale so massive it's hard to even visualize. But here's what's not abstract: power. The power to accelerate or stall the electric revolution for entire continents. Now, they've dropped a bombshell, not with a flashy press conference but with cold, hard science, a breakthrough in lithium metal batteries. Forget your current understanding. Lithium metal has always been the theoretical holy grail, insane energy density, but it came with a fatal flaw, a lifespan shorter than a politician's promise. They burned bright, then died fast, unusable for the real world. Until now, CATL's latest prototype isn't just good, it's a cheat code. We're talking an energy density of over 500 watt-hours per kilogram. And let that number sink in. Your typical high-end lithium iron phosphate LFP battery, like BYD's Blade or CATL's own, sits around 160 to 190 watt-hours per kilogram. The much-hyped solid-state batteries from companies like QuantumScape or Factorial, they're targeting optimistically around 350 to 400 watt-hours per kilogram, maybe 375 in current advanced prototypes. CATL's new lithium metal isn't just 30% better than solid-state hopefuls, it's in a different dimension. It makes current best-in-class look like steam power. What does 500 watt-hours per kilogram feel like? Take a Tesla Model 3 or a BYD Seal, slot in a modest 70 kWh pack of these new cells, that's actually smaller than some current battery packs, and you're not looking at a bit more range, you're looking at an easy 1,000 kilometers or 600 miles. No hypermiling, no praying to the electron gods, just drive 600 miles. That's New York to Detroit with range to spare, Los Angeles to San Francisco, and almost back again. This isn't incremental, this is a paradigm shift, and the implications ripple out, touching everything from your next car purchase to the geopolitical balance of energy. If piecing together these global power plays, understanding the tech that underpins tectonic shifts in industry and finance, if that's why you're here, then you already know. We don't just report the news, we decode the signals. So how did CATL crack a problem that has stumped the brightest minds for decades? It wasn't luck, it was a brutal, systematic dismantling of the mystery. They talk about quantitative mapping, which sounds sterile, academic. What it means is they treated the battery cell not as a black box of chemical reactions, but as a crime scene. They hunted for the killer. For years, the blame for lithium metal's short life fell on the usual suspects. Solvent breakdown, dendrite growth, those insidious lithium spikes, dead lithium accumulation. Plausible theories, all partially true, but CATL, with their almost unsettling resources and focus, dug deeper. They tracked every molecule, every ion, every subtle degradation pathway. They're watching CATL like hawks because this isn't just about better batteries, it's about who controls the energy future. It's about supply chains, raw material access, and the kind of technological leverage that can make or break economies. CATL is typically quiet, but the signals are there. This isn't a 10 years from now maybe scenario. For initial high-value applications for specialized uses, think supercars, race cars, perhaps even the nascent electric aviation sector, where every gram counts. This technology could appear much sooner. Imagine electric aircraft with inner-city range, not just glorified puddle jumpers. That becomes very, very real with 500 watt-hours per kilogram. For mainstream automotive, give it 5 years, maybe less for premium models. By 2030, this kind of performance could be filtering down. Now think about the timelines politicians are setting. 2035. That's the year many Western jurisdictions, 15 US states, Canada, the UK, the EU, are mandating an end to new internal combustion engine sales. China will be long past ICE by then, a footnote in their automotive history. Consider the landscape in 2035. We already have 1,000 kilowatt fast charging. CATL's own Keelan battery can add 250 miles of range in 10 minutes. By 2035, 500 kilowatts charging will be commonplace. Your 10-minute fill-up will be standard. Battery packs with energy densities of at least 300 watt-hours per kilogram, even without lithium metal, will be the norm, effectively doubling average EV range compared to today, assuming pack sizes stay similar. The raw material revolution. This leap in energy density doesn't just redefine performance, it recalibrates the entire calculus of resource demand. Lithium remains essential, but suddenly, less is more. A 500 kg battery slashes the raw material needed per kilowatt hour by over 60% compared to today's best LFP packs. That's fewer mines, reduced environmental footprints, and a potential easing of supply chain choke points. But here's the twist. CATL's dominance in refining and cathode production, they control 35% of global cathode capacity, means they're not just selling batteries, they're selling geopolitical leverage. Nations rich in lithium, cobalt, or nickel now face a new reality. Efficiency gains could diminish their strategic value overnight. The death knell for transition technologies. Solid-state batteries, hydrogen fuel cells. CATL's lithium metal breakthrough relegates them to niche curiosities. Why gamble on unproven hydrogen infrastructure or solid-states manufacturing nightmares when lithium metal offers 30% higher density today? Automakers clinging to bridge technologies now face a stark choice. Pivot to CATL's ecosystem or risk obsolescence. Even Tesla's 4,680 cells, once hailed as revolutionary, suddenly look like intermediate steps. The message is clear. The endgame is lithium metal, and CATL holds the patents. Electric aviation's quantum leap, aviation's holy grail, regional electric flight just shifted from theory to near-term reality. At 500 kg, a 50-seat commuter plane could achieve 500-mile ranges, decimating short-haul fossil fuel routes. Startups like Hart Aerospace and Aviation now have a viable pathway, but with strings attached. CATL's cells will command premium pricing, potentially consolidating their power over two transport revolutions, EVs and eVTOLs. The skies, like the roads, will bear their invisible signature. The charging war escalates. CATL's Keelan battery already enables 250-mile charges in 10 minutes. Pair that with 500 kg density, and 500 kilowatts charging becomes not just feasible but necessary. Gas stations converting to mega charging hubs will need grid upgrades rivaling small cities. This triggers a domino effect. Utilities scramble to deploy nuclear microreactors and grid-scale storage. Oil giants accelerate their pivot to electrons, and nations without robust power infrastructure face exclusion from the EV era. CATL's battery isn't just powering cars, it's rewiring the world's energy nervous system. The new arms race Western automakers are cornered. Their survival hinges on accessing CATL's tech, but reliance comes at a cost. Joint ventures requiring IP sharing, factory investments on CATL's terms, and vulnerability to China's industrial policy whims. The U.S. Inflation Reduction Act's local content rules. CATL sidesteps them via licensing deals with Ford and GM. Europe's battery sovereignty dreams, undermined by CATL's Hungarian gigafactory, the continent's largest. This isn't competition, it's a silent takeover. 2035, the world remade picture. A 2035 where EVs with 800-mile ranges are mainstream. Refueling takes less time than a coffee break. Oil demand crashes, petrostates unravel, and energy wars pivot from hydrocarbons to lithium refinement and semiconductor supply. China, through CATL, controls the core technology enabling this transition. The ripple effects cascade. Auto industry carnage. Legacy, ICE manufacturers without CATL deals face extinction. Urban reshaping. Parking lots morph into charging parks. Gas stations become cafes with superchargers. Climate math. Grid storage costs plummet, enabling 90% plus renewable grids. Yet beneath this utopian surface lies tension. Who monitors CATL's supply chain ethics? Who ensures critical technology isn't weaponized in trade wars? The battery isn't just a product, it's a vessel of power. The unanswered question. CATL cracked lithium metal's decay paradox. But how? Industry whispers point to a proprietary nano-coating that suppresses dendrites and a self-healing electrolyte formula. Patents already filed across 38 countries. The real secret, though, may be their scale. When you produce more batteries than anyone on Earth, failure data becomes your most valuable R&D tool. Every degraded cell returned under warranty is a clue fed back into their quantitative mapping machine. It's a closed loop of innovation competitors can't replicate. The horizon. What comes after 500 watt-hours per kilogram? CATL's labs reportedly target 700 watt-hours per kilogram by 2030, energy density rivaling jet fuel. When batteries store more energy per kilogram than fossil fuels, the combustion era's final advantage vanishes. The true disruption isn't on roads or runways, it's in the psychology of progress. A generation raised on range anxiety will give way to one that finds the idea of gas stations quaint. CATL didn't just build a better battery, they engineered inevitability, then layer on lithium metal batteries like CATL's. Suddenly, EVs aren't just matching gasoline cars for convenience, they're surpassing them. Imagine a world where your car routinely gets 600, 700, even 800 miles on a charge, and that charge takes up 10 to 15 minutes. The argument for internal combustion doesn't just weaken, it evaporates. It becomes a relic, a curiosity for enthusiasts, like steam engines or horse-drawn carriages. Anyone still betting on gasoline in 2035 hasn't fully grasped the velocity of this technological tsunami. They're standing on the beach admiring the pretty waves, unaware of the wall of water just over the horizon. This isn't just about convenience, it's about a fundamental reordering. Manufacturing shifts, energy grids transform, geopolitics realign around new resource dependencies. Lithium, yes, but also the intellectual property and manufacturing capacity for these advanced cells. What do you think about this? Let us know in the comments section.